Hey guys, just a quick one before the video starts. If you're living in Brisbane, you might have heard of the Archerfield Drift Park. It seems a local council member is trying to shut it down. If you got a spare 5 minutes after you watch the video, I'll leave a link in the description for the petition that we've got going to save Archerfield Drift Park. It would really mean a lot. I know I've got bugger all followers and no subscribers, but it would really mean a lot to myself and obviously the community and Southeast Queensland drift community in particular. Thanks very much. Let's get straight to the video. In this video, we're gonna make the car more reliable. The car is a Holden Commodore. It's called Cuddles. It's fitted with a late model LS1 with the good rods. It runs on methanol. The car's being fitted with an LS1 engine backed by a Turbo 400 and a 9-inch diff. The entire combo has been optimized for its intended use, and that is burnouts, power skids, no street driving whatsoever, and as much power as we could get out of it on our budget. So then you might be asking, where do I start to make something like that more reliable? One of the things you could do is replace that with a brand new ECU from Haltech. But that is not what we're doing today. Today, we're going to install one of these AEM Wideband Failsafe Gauges. Here's a look at it. Let me explain a little bit about why I've chosen to add this in to make the car more reliable. The gauge's main function is to display the air-fuel ratio the engine is currently running at. But the problem with your standard AFR gauge is, say you've got a problem and the car's going lean, by the time you've seen it and had time to react to it, it could be too late. You could have either already blown up, or you're doing this crazy squealy and you don't even get to look at the gauge and it's all too late. If something goes wrong where this thing is under full load at high RPM, things happen very quickly. This thing is gonna mean that we can catch anything that goes wrong relating to the air-fuel ratio under certain conditions. Now, I picked this thing up secondhand, so here's the instruction manual, covered in a bit of grease because old mate has obviously had this installed in a vehicle. He's ripped it out. The wiring looms are all here and still super long. He's also labeled them. All of that's in the instruction manual, but I guess it's good to have old mate's chicken scratch here. Map, positive, AFR, negative, whatever. And included in the price, so I paid $250 for this, which is cheap as chips. Included in the price was a brand new Bosch LSU 4.2 sensor. For those in the know, there's the 4.2 and the 4.9. And yes, the 4.9 is better, but the 4.2 still does a good job. They were used in, production vehicles, so they're reliable. If you really care about the difference between them, look them up, Google them like I did. I thought, oh no, I actually realized afterwards, after I bought it, oh no, this thing's got the Bosch LSU 4.2. Oh no, it's not going to do what I want. But it's safe for methanol, it's safe for ethanol, and it will still give me a super accurate reading on the gauge. You can see here, I've already fitted the Lambda backing plate, as that's what I'm going to use. So we've got Lambda 1.0 in the middle there, and then, actually no, we don't. Lambda 1.0 would be over here. Oh, I didn't notice that. Anyway, so this is the plug that plugs into the back of the gauge, and off that plug is this USB cable. So the USB cable plugs into a laptop, and that is how you program the parameters, what they call the fail-safe parameters, into this thing. And in the instruction manual, I won't show you, you can look all this up on the internet. If you really want to see, just look it up. This is available online, but it tells you, what to plug into what. It's all very straightforward. Tells you how the sensor needs to be installed, how it needs to be mounted. The headers on this car already have the bung installed in them, so we'll just be using the existing bungs. But this is the screen. Now, there are other videos on YouTube. I would encourage you, if you are going to use this, this part number to install on your own car, do your own research. So I'm not going to tell you exactly every little intricacy about setting this thing up, but I just want to give you a brief outline of what it's going to do for this car and why I've chosen to use this, because I think it's an awesome budget option for something that could potentially save your car. This guy even threw in a brand new sensor, which works with this gauge. So I was absolutely stoked with that. So you install the software, you set up your parameters. You can either have it, so it tells you here, they call it an alarm. So you can set, you know, how long does the AFR need to be outside its programmed range from, you know, 0.1 of a second to 1 whole second. That's the alarm delay. So you can have like a lean spike and it won't sort of shut your engine off. But if it's lean for, say, more than like half a second or more than a full second, then you can get it to trigger. I'm not going to go through it all. It's all programmable and wideband failsafe tuning. It also is a data logger, and that's the other thing I wanted to mention. So with this car, you can't plug a USB cable into the carby and download the data. This, however, can and does log RPM, vacuum, and your air-fuel ratio. That is also going to help me tune this car. You can see the jets I've got in here, I've written down because just in case I forgot, is 172s in the front and 188s in the rear. I have a feeling that with this upgraded fuel pump and the fact that the carby is going to be getting as much fuel as it needs, I have a feeling that they're going to be too big. But that's just a hunch. I wouldn't be able to tell. One, because methanol plug reading on methanol can be difficult, and I'm lazy and I don't get out of the car and check the plugs all the time. Anyway, let's get stuck in. Like I said, this is not going to be a full-on how-to. You know, you're probably going to have a different car. It's going to be a different setup. You can use these on EFI cars, and actually I think the video that I was watching about these was set up on an EFI car. I'm probably going to set it up. It's going to be a normally closed relay. I'm just assuming here that this thing pumps out 12 volts under the alarm condition, which means that when things are bad, one of the lines out here goes from 0 volts to 12 volts. It gives me a chance to fix the problem before it makes me a poor man. All right, here we go. Got the mount mounted. Just smashed it through with those self-tappers, and she's in there like swimwear. Before we mount this up in the gauge cup under there, we're going to plug it all in. We've got 2 looms that come with it. One is the power and switches for the light and RPM feed, and also the USB cable. That's on one plug, and then the other plug, it's a smaller one, and that plugs into your O2 sensor. So the loom for that, ludicrously long. I don't know, that must be like through, I don't know, 3 or 4 meters long probably. So and it all just slides into the gauge cup here. So we'll get these plugged in. Let's see if I can do it through the viewfinder. Oh, you're probably thinking, Kieran, mate, you bloody got 10 thumbs. Oh, there we go. Got him. That's 1. 2. Done. Cool. All right, so we'll bloody get that on there like that, and then, you know, once the gauge is mounted and we've got all this spare cable, then we know what length to trim it up to. The spot that I've got it here is quite close to everything, so I can just route the stuff straight underneath the dash, and power distribution block for the entire car is actually up under my feet. I don't know why this is so blurry, man. Yeah, I don't know, it's Blur City. All right, a bit better. Anyway, the power distribution is up under here, so, and that'll all just feed under here, and we got these grey wires here, and she'll be right. It's going to be fine. So the main one is going to be routing this outside the car and down underneath and onto the side of the header. So I'll show you where we're going to route that. There's already a big hole in the firewall. We'll just piggyback off that, and she'll be apples. Hang on a second here, ladies and gentlemen. Don't be so hasty. Instead of plugging that straight into the back of the gauge, I have found an existing hole in the body. So we are at the front passenger side wheel, driver's side if you're American, but obviously I don't have Holdens in America, so but this goes up to the antenna or aerial or whatever, and it is no longer in use. So it's got this nice little grommet. I've just pulled that out, but you can't really see. But behind there, this hole goes straight into the cabin of the car. The O2 sensor, have a look at that right there. So we'll probably run the loom. Let's say it'll come out here and then probably up, hugging this something, I don't know, come around here and straight up and into the car. And instead of feeding this through this hole in the firewall, this is a quite a sizable plug. We can feed this tiny little one through, or at least I'm hoping we can feed it up through that hole and not have to cut the body. This is impossible to do two-handed, but we're going to modify this here grommet to accept this through the guts of it. So just going to cut this to the same size of that, squeeze it on, whack it in, Bob's your auntie's uncle. Oh God, one-handed. Oh, damn me. Oh, rested on my knee. Oh, that's a nice knee shot. Hey, there we go. All right. We are through. We'll feed through up into that hole. Oh, you can see him just there. That's where that grommet fits in. So we'll get that all mounted up. Well, like everything, this has taken a fair bit longer than I assumed it would. And so for that reason, I'm going to do this over 2 days and spend a couple of hours screwing around now. And now Clayton's home. No. Motor mouth, get involved. Yeah, thanks, mate. Yeah, cheers. Yeah, well, we're back. We're here. We're just wiring up this thing. Yeah, if you want, you can record me, but I won't. I realised I wouldn't make a good surgeon or cameraman. What have you done? Oh, I shake heaps. Mate, don't you drink straight coffee? I am drinking straight coffee, yes. Like, no shit, like, no milk. I'm drinking straight coffee now, you can have a sip. I literally only drink straight coffee until I break fast. Man, just pass me the cup. I'll have a sip right now. I can make you a coffee. I don't have any milk though. Oh. I have old milk that's fresh that hadn't even been opened. It might be still good. Wait, what? I have milk. Oh, I guess so. Yeah. How are you doing this with one hand before? I wasn't recording anything. Are you recording? You are recording now, right? What, sorry? You are recording now, right? Is there a stop button down the bottom? Yeah. On the side? Yeah. Then yes. You got a little blinky boy. What's wrong with drinking black coffee? Man. Everything. Alright, it now has RPM signal. So that's good. RPM, yeah, that's what I've always wanted for you. Gee, the tripper is fucking black. Yeah, have some. It's beautiful. Are you serious? That smells like... Oh, that's probably because of the cup. It always smelled like tobacco. Dude, man, you can't drink that. Bullshit. That's really nice coffee. That's really, really expensive coffee. It's just black. You look at how much weight I've lost and you tell me I'm the... Bro, this is a serious amount of capping, but it is good. Yeah. Well, ladies and gentlemen, you may never get this same view of this car ever again. There is the gauge mounted, and there is the wires going back here. And there is a shot of underneath the dash of this car, wired by yours truly, absolute bird's nest. Oh gosh. The regret is real, but we pushed through because those are the wires right here. Right in focus there. Those are the wires that are coming from the AEM that need to go to their respective homes. So right now I'm working on the grey one, which is the dimmer trigger, and that gets hooked up to the light switch. And the light switch is up underneath the dash here, and I've used 2 of the same colored wire. This might take some time to figure out. So until then, enjoy the magic of editing. Okay, well, here's where we got to. The wires are everywhere, and the ones that need to be hooked up are hooked up. Apart from this one, this is the fault wire. So this is the one that it gets pulled to ground when there's something wrong. So I'm going to leave that one out and wire that up next time. This is where I ended up getting to with the wiring. I'll show you quickly. The gauge is mounted in here. It's all sweet. We have run the O2 sensor wiring. So that's it there, all plugged in. Just zip tied it there to those existing holes. The connector has 2 little studs on it that you can poke through. So just drilled a couple of holes, and that's actually mounted there. That clip is actually mounted to the frame of the car, which is kind of a cool thing. I didn't know that was the intended use of it, but works good. The rest of the cable just comes up here. I just zip tied it here, here, and here, and it runs through that little hole. Apologies for the dodgy lighting in here, but it just runs up here. It comes out there and runs up along the rest of the wiring. So that's the O2 sensor wiring. Here's the rest of it. That's where I ended up getting to. So everything's connected up. We got the power, ground, the TAC input, which I think is this grey one, or the green one. No, it's the green one. And the grey one goes to the light switch. So I'm assuming when you turn the lights on, it dims the display or something like that. But that's all wired up. The rest of these different colored wires we're not actually going to use. They go to like an external data logger or the ECU. I think some ECUs use those outputs. We don't use them at all. The only one that's left that I'm going to use is this blue one here, and this is the one that goes to ground when something's wrong. So I'll just have to figure out what kind of relay setup we need to wire up for that, and what it's going to excuse the sweat. It is hot as in Brisbane today. Yeah, so anyway, there's still a whole bunch of stuff to do. Like I said, we've got the fuel supply line coming up from the pump and all that. I've still got to finish that off. I'll give you a quick look in the boot. So full of crap. We've still got to get the fuel cell tidied up. We've got to put the vent on. We've got to wire up the fuel pump. And yeah, I'm sure there's a bunch of other stuff as well. But once all that stuff's done, which I will slowly be ticking things off week by week, once that's done, then we'll be able to take this thing out to Willowbank, which I'm pretty excited for because it's never been down the strip with this engine combination. So I don't know what it's going to run. I have no idea. I'll show you the tires that we got for it. They're just some cheap Mickey Thompson 235 60 15s, and they're pretty shagged. As you can see, there's like barely any tread left on them. But when you get 2 for $50, how can you say no? So keeping the cost down, Yeah, they're probably not going to hook up so great, but I mean, this thing's not a drag car. We just sort of want to go. I'm more interested in the mile an hour anyway. But you know, if we can get it to leave semi decently, then you know it might run a decent time as well. Yeah. Anyway, stay tuned for the next one. Thanks for watching.